Gregory, is that you? Please come out. I'm here to help you. You've got to trust me. Ugh, I hate kids.
Did you know that Vanessa went through a major personality change months before Security Breach came out? Well, if you had watched the trailers leading up to the release, then you probably noticed not only the massive change in tone and behavior, but her focus in the plot. Something similar to Vanny, who had cutscenes in the same trailer that were all axed before the final product. But that's a story for another day. Today we're talking about Vanessa and the bizarre decision to change her before release. In a quick descriptor, Vanessa is a pretty blonde security guard working at the Pizzaplex. Gregory is suspicious of her, though in-game we don't know why and do not see their initial interaction. In the trailers, Vanessa is portrayed as someone trying to help and offer a way out.
Gregory, I'm here to help. Gregory, I can keep you safe.
But in the final game, Vanessa is rude, abrasive, belittling and threatening Freddy, and luring Gregory in with lines such as this.
Come on out, you little monster. I can help. Come on, kid. I don't have all night.
I'm shocked that didn't work. If you've played Security Breach, you might have noticed the abysmal amount of time with this character, who appears only a little more than Vanny but doesn't do anything significant, especially after the halfway mark where she disappears from the plot entirely until 2 of the endings. And if you're aware of the rushed nature of Security Breach, then you might suppose that there was a lot of cut content. There was. Almost all of her voice lines, some of which have major story implications, were either cut or replaced with this mean Vanessa character. There were even going to be more encounters, proven by the fact that for some reason Vanessa has jumping and landing voice lines, and animations reacting to the Phaser Blaster, even though you can't run into her after the point you get it. Her last appearance, and the only area you can actually encounter her in, being while you're going to get the party pass to go get the weapon, whichever weapon you choose. Not to mention the fact that the story itself, which seems to have involved her greatly at one point, has so many major holes, jumping from "she's after me" to "where the heck is she" to "did we rescue her, or are there 2 Vanessas?" All of these questions are, funny enough, answered by the cut voice lines, which fill in a lot of what's going on. I'm also going to dip into some speculation of what I think Vanessa's initial role was going to be, kind of like I did with the Shattered Freddy's video. So, would you believe that not only was Vanessa advertised as a possible friend or foe, obviously in the final game she's a foe and there's no part of the game where she's ever becomes a friend, but that all of her cut lines are friendly? Even the trailer depicts a different Vanessa entirely, one warning Gregory that they will keep hunting him and that he must get out.
Gregory, we can get you out of here. You and me together. They won't stop hunting you. None of them will stop hunting you.
Along with this cutscene of her catching him at the elevator and looking genuinely worried. It seems the original intention, as shown in even the posters, was to have Vanessa be this worried security guard who is really trying to help Gregory. And for some reason, he does not trust her. Now there might be a very clear reason for that supplied in the trailer.
Gregory, your friends are worried about you. They're here with me. Please come out. Gregory, I may have lost my temper earlier, but it was just a glitch. It won't happen again. It's been such a difficult day for all of us. Why don't you come out and we can play a game together?
This line seems to depict a situation where Vanessa is becoming Vanny, which would fit with Vanessa's original mechanics. Initially, there was going to be a Vanny meter, where when it ran out, Vanny would chase Gregory around the Pizzaplex. But not only that, Vanessa's model would turn into Vanny's when this meter ran out. Gregory witnessing one of these turns would explain why he's so freaked out at Vanessa, and the audience would still be none the wiser until later when it happens again in front of us, and we suddenly believe the kid that saw the monster, as we would too think, hey, Vanessa sounds nice, being lulled into a false sense of security. A sharp contrast from current Vanessa who's sucking a lemon. This isn't just speculation either, there's plenty more lines that set up for the possibility for Vanessa as the reluctant follower, the label given to Vanny before it was decided that she was going to be merch waifu first and foremost. The truth is, remember, Vanny was initially a possessed woman who was being forcibly controlled through threats of breaking her fingers and of what was done to Jeremy, a la the FNAF AR messages and Remember Jeremy. This fits the meeker initial version of Vanessa well. She never escapes Afton's control, and some lines seem to hint so when we hear her on the radio talking with someone, pleading and desperately assuring that she will find Gregory, that she won't fail, which remarkably matches the lines from Vanny and Help Wanted and in the source code where we know Afton is always talking to and directing her assuring him that she'll get the job done, it'll be fun. Here's her conversation with her boss.
I'm sorry. I think we lost him. I don't know how to fix it. What am I going to do? I didn't mean to.
I think the mislead here being that we assume she's talking to a person or higher up, but then realize later that she's talking to Afton, which would have set up him being in the game. Burntrap had voice lines that didn't make it into the game, ones that sounded deceptively human in nature. You may remember them from the trailer. The, "You were weak, and I made you strong."
When I first found you, you were nothing. You were small, pathetic. But now, you are more. Are you ready?
And "You will bring me what I want."
You will do as I say. You will bring me what I want. And if you fail me, then you will. Both of you burn!
Lines. And no, these were not from Monty. Matthew Curtis himself said it was Burntrap, and while the yelling might sound bellowy, though without an accent, the speaking voice is clearly not Monty. Back on track, Vanessa's lines bring a whole new shade to the argument though, one both disturbing and telling of the plot that never was. It's this line in particular, one that I will be discussing whenever I talk about Gregory again, that really hits the nail on the head.
If Freddy was working, we would have him by now. Okay, I didn't mean to. He walks through every security door as if he owns the place. No, I can find him. It won't be like the last one.
Now, if we're going off the fact that Vanessa sounds friendly but is really dangerous and caught up in Afton's plan as his reluctant follower, then this line is very telling. But this line sounds innocuous, right? Well, I think it's a surprisingly clever writing trick. I think when she says, "If Freddy was working, we'd have him by now," the audience is supposed to think that she is saying that because Freddy is out of service, they can't find Gregory. But then later we find out about how the animatronics are controlled, and instead, Freddy isn't working because he isn't possessed. He's in safe mode. He's not following orders. Also, it won't be like the last one. So there was another kid who escaped Vanny. I doubt they got out of the Pizzaplex if nobody knows about a kid getting stuck in there. Sure, Fazbear Entertainment could have covered it up, but you'd expect at least a message or something. Maybe this explains all the weird lived-in rooms around the Pizzaplex. Maybe this is part of the plotline being used in Ruin, but I digress. There's also lines showing Vanessa looking for the Princess Quest arcade machines, assumedly, and finding the second key.
I've looked everywhere. It's not here. I'll find it eventually. Look, I don't know where it is. Do you know how many arcade games there are? I have the second key.
You know, there was also supposed to maybe be a playable Vanessa segment that was rumored, but what that would have entailed is long gone. It looks like we're now permanently stuck playing kids. I think there's no questioning that Vanessa was supposed to have a much bigger role. Vanessa is likely supposed to be Vanny, that it was supposed to be some sort of a big reveal and security breach with plenty of misleads and a shocking twist, which builds up to the ending when Gregory saves her. But since all of that was cut, we have pieces of it, but not the whole picture. In fact, the picture these cut lines and these trailers show is a very disturbing one. One of a friendly character who isn't just fooling you, but who is actively not in control of her own body, which would line up with that reluctance. As much as the merch would have you believe that Vanny is some cutesy Harley Quinn-esque character who loves being bad and loves her honey bunny Afton. She is on his leash. He's buying torture equipment to break her fingers and toes with. And whether sweet or sour Vanessa, Vanny never acts like her. She always moves and acts like Glitchtrap, a vessel. But not only was this taken out through cuts, but in the final hour someone decided it would be better if Vanessa acted like an overly aggressive, animatronic-abusing, child-hating loudmouth. And I don't know if it's because they thought the audience would catch on to the twist, or thought people wouldn't realize she's the villain, or wanted to do that whole aggressive woman to entice the audience. I mean, come on, you already had the person who designed the entire glam rock band in Vanny. You don't need to make her mean. Ironically, though, in her therapy tapes, Vanessa still acts like the sweet, docile person portrayed in those earlier trailers. This is likely not on purpose, but a result of not having enough time to redo the lines. Monty Gator's lines were all a one-take scenario in an empty warehouse, as told by his voice actor Cameron Miller, so redoing all of Vanessa's lines might have had to take a backseat to the time crunch. You know, recently it was revealed or leaked that Ruin has gotten out of alpha and stepped into beta. That's great. I hope that game stays in beta as long as it needs to. It needs to hang out there and work out all of its kinks, and hopefully not need any major changes before release. But if it does, it's still in the place where it can do so. Apparently in the AAA industry, a game usually stays in beta from 3 to 6 months. Take 9. We're giving you full leave, bake this thing till it comes out flaky and delicious. That tangent aside, what do I think the initial plan of Vanessa was? Well, here we go. I think the game would still open with Gregory not trusting Vanessa and the audience not knowing why. As we see moments of Vanessa at the elevator or pleading for Gregory, we start to believe that maybe Gregory is the one who's confused and she's the one we should really be looking to help us. Then somewhere, likely the halfway point, Gregory finally either gets caught by or approaches Vanessa, and the "it's just a glitch" thing happens, and that's when Vanny comes into the picture and starts becoming a prolific threat from that point over. I'm not entirely sure, but I heard somewhere that in the initial design of Security Breach, we were actually going to spend 5 days at the Pizzaplex, not just one night. I guess that would go along with the whole 5 Nights at Freddy's thing. If that was the case, then it could be that we see Vanessa for numerous nights, and then it's not until one of the later ones, or one of the last ones, when she finally turns into Vanny. But from Vanessa's tone and behavior, I don't think this is a baby situation. I think maybe Vanessa might be aware partially of what's going on, and is both trying to serve Afton, because she's afraid of him, and trying to somewhat help Gregory out. This is what encourages the audience and Gregory to rescue her, and she is freed from Afton's control towards the end. Maybe the Vanny ending and Burntrap ending existed together at one time, like Shattered Freddy used to. Like, now without Freddy, Gregory has the option to free Vanny, if the Phaser Blast section where you fight Vanny does also have Shattered Freddy's boss fight, which I suspect it could have. Then you free Vanessa and she either helps you take out Burntrap, or whatever Burntrap initially was, or the player then takes control of Vanessa and does it themselves, a la traditional Night Guard in the Office segment. Another possibility is that there were 2 people, Vanessa and Vanny, but they were both possessed. Maybe Vanessa and Tape Girl. Both of you, 2 beds, yada yada. I still think the story could have been that Vanessa and Vanny were separate people despite everything. That it was a big twist, and that it was just a glitch moment could have been from a second twist when Gregory realizes that Vanessa is also possessed by Afton. That twist could have also worked because the moment it's revealed that Vanessa isn't Vanny, the audience would be led into a false belief that she's safe. A secondary red herring. Messy mysteries like this can seem a bit confusing, but it can be pulled off. Have it seem like Vanessa's not Vanny, but then reveal she is. Make it too obvious she's Vanny, but then angle towards a reveal she's not, and then suddenly the Vanny twist might work again. Especially if Vanessa simply isn't in control of herself. That goes double with 2 Vannys, but there's another way that this situation could work. Time to talk about the 4th closet. Don't worry, it's not a critique this time, but it's been about a week and I thought it was about time to discuss it again. But jokes aside, with the 4th closet's ideas slowly being integrated more heavily into the games, the book does bring up the possibility that Vanessa and Vanny could have been the same. That is, one of them could have been a robotic clone used to work the plan out. In which case, I almost think the sweet Vanessa, like the security guard Vanessa, would have been the clone, and the reveal would have been that Vanny is the real Vanessa being controlled by Afton, and this encourages Gregory to free her. There's a lot of possibilities for what Vanessa could have been that kind of didn't end up coming to fruition, and that's sad because while she seems to be a character sticking around, I don't know if we'll ever get a chance. I don't know if she'll ever get a chance for something this big again. But we will see. But I will be scratching my head for a while wondering why it was that Vanessa warranted a major character shift before release. When the game should have been in a place where they were finalizing it, there was a decision made to turn one of the main characters into a completely different person. Odder still, since her role was cut so dramatically short, but perhaps that's the explanation itself. They didn't have time to tell Vanessa's story, so they changed her into something more easily digestible to fit her limited role. Again, we probably won't ever know the answer. Anywho, I hope this video has been enlightening, and thank you for watching.